against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. Principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. Put on camouflage. Eyes in the sky. No principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat.
Shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom. It's your boy Michael Israel here. And you are watching Spiritual Combat. And as you can see, the title of today's lesson is Qualities That Attract and Keep a Woman, or keep women. Okay? So, you know, we're getting into the relationship thing. We're beginning to go back in. This is kind of going to lead into a lesson I'm going to be doing on Thursday with Milk in the Morning. I'm going to be doing a lesson on Milk in the Morning with Mashrath and Judah Mack. So they invited me to come on and just teach a lesson over there to their people over on Facebook. So we'll be doing that Thursday, and you know, I'm a go into biblical masculinity, give them a breakdown on that, and biblical femininity. So I will be giving a good breakdown on that. But this is I think a much needed lesson, qualities that attract and keep women. Okay. Now let me see. Okay. So just checking. Shalom, Sister Hicks. It's good to see you in there. Good to see you up early and getting your day started early. That's awesome. But yeah, so we're gonna get into it. And like I said, there's a ton of scriptures like these breakdowns that I come with, which you begin to see, particularly the male-female roles in the marriage, and just different dynamics that in today's society are upside down. Because a lot of people like I said, I do a lot of marriage counseling and a lot of what would you call it? Um, there's a good name for it: crisis management. You know what I'm saying? Because, whoo, look, yeah, we know we the people of the book, but I'm just telling you from firsthand, frontline experience. There's still a lot of marriage issues out there. It's a battleground. Um, and what it comes down to is not that the stuff I'm bringing out is deep, heavy biblical knowledge that has to be dug out and mined by some elite Bible scholar. That's not the issue. What the issue is they're peeling through all the deception and getting to what the word actually says. Um, and one of the things I found to be that used to really make me wonder. I used to always say to myself, as I was growing in relationship understanding, as I was growing into a real man, as I was growing into a spirit, into a King David spirit of boldness and just turning into a real man, as I was transitioning from the Ahab spirit to a King David spirit, and as that process was happening, one of the things that happened, I was like, why? Because I was in Christianity, and I had been in it since I was 10 years old, all the way up till I was like 27. And then I said, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to just go into the world and go find an answer to these issues that have been plaguing me my whole life. And I went out into the world, and of course, you get half-truths and deception out there. But that path slowly led me back to the word of the Most High Yah, and with a different, more biblical understanding of how relationship dynamics really work and their true function. But anyway, one of the things I used to always say, I was like, with all these relationship problems that are out here, especially in the black community, when it comes from being single to the domestic violence and all the other issues in between that, the divorce and all these issues we have in that you see in black relationships, I was like, these relationships, there should be relationship solutions all through the Bible, but I was like, I don't see them. I see where it says some stuff about the women, but not really, it doesn't really hit on the man's role. And it took me, like I said, going out into the world and kind of going down this unique path that the Most High took me on, and then coming back into this truth, into the real truth of the word. And it took all that for me to really see that the Most High has put it all in here. It's just a lot. The deception is just so heavy because Satan, the main thing he wants to attack are the marriages. He knows that family and is the key, and of course our oppressor, these heathens, they have taken crafty counsel against us. It's documented. It's shown how in the 70s, they launched an attack against the black family. They figured out that was the foundation. And particularly the strong man. Bind the strong man. Bind him. And I move to say, today, black men have been mentally binded. They're bound mentally. Okay? And it's in the world, and it's in so-called religious Bible so-called Bible teachers and all that stuff, the black man is mentally bound because he's the strong man. But if you want to take his house, you have to have him bound. And like I talked to a brother a couple days ago on some counseling. He was going through, it was getting ready to be a divorce basically. And like I said, when I'm counseling people, I just let them talk, because what I let them do is paint. They're talking, and what they're doing is slowly beginning to paint a picture, a dynamic picture of the dynamics in their situation, in their relationship. And he slowly began to paint. And once I let him talk, and I just look at the situation, it's always something simple. But things aren't simple if you don't know. If you've been deceived, it's not simple, because a lot of the stuff is so basic. A lot of men, they don't even consider. But anyway, one of the things I told him is, I was like, I'm listening to him. I'm like, hey man, I was like, I don't need to talk to her. I was like, you don't realize it, but you're causing the issue. Most of the time, a woman's behavior is reactive. It's a response. It just to really make it simple and put it across the board, a lot of women's behavior, disobedience, rebelliousness is a response and a reaction to the man's behavior. Okay? And here we go into we're going into an area where nobody wants to go. This again, elephant in the room ministries over here, you know. And this is one of the elephants not in the room. This is one of the elephants in the closet. And we got to bring it out the closet, in the room, and get it up out the room. One of the things I always say is nobody ever addresses the issue of how do you deal with a woman who is rebellious. Why don't I ever hear any teachings on that? Nobody ever slams into that and biblically breaks that down. And what is that? Because it's an epidemic. It's a plague in the black community. Somebody was bringing out the other day how, and it comes all the time. I hear brothers come up to me and they're like, you know what? Matter of fact, I was talking to a brother just yesterday. He was like, I was done with black women in high school. He was like, I had this. He went to some of these other nations because their women were more respectful to him. And my problem with that is a lot of brothers don't understand the whole dynamic and what's going on with our women. Why are they rebellious? What put them in that spirit to where even if you're a good man, they're coming at you in a certain type of disrespectful way? Well, there's a whole dynamic going on there to where, because like I said, I'm just teaching on the reality. I'm not teaching on what makes everybody feel good. I'm not trying to, get in where I could fit and all that and preach candy to people's ears. I'm just telling you the realities of what I have to deal with in the trenches. And it's the more personal, the more universal. And a lot of the brothers I see, like, I can't tell you how many brothers come to me frustrated and ready to get divorced, and I have to break down, this is why she's acting that way. This is what might have happened to her to make her that way. And it's so, and I'm not going to go into all that, but the long or the short of it is, I always say this, at the end of the day, I don't care what people want to come to me with, at the end of the day, absolutely the responsibility lies on the man. At the end of the day, it's the man's fault. But this is the thing. When I say it's the man's fault, I'm not coming at it like this society says, oh, it's the man's fault, and you need to begin worshiping her and licking her boots, and this, that, and the other. No. At the end of the day, it's the man's fault, because us as men, we have to be sensitive to the women. And don't get that twisted. When I say that word sensitive, I don't mean go home, start crying, and turn into, I don't want to use any derogatory words, but turn into an Ahab spirit, and supplicating this weak dude. You have to be sensitive in your understanding, sense, feel, be more aware of what's going on and the dynamics of the whole situation. A lot of women harbor bitterness and unforgiveness because of past hurts, where men who were trusted and were supposed to protect them violated them in the most insidious way, I guess, for lack of my better vocabulary, but violated them and broke their trust on the most core level. Okay, this is widespread. One of the things you always hear me say when I'm teaching and I'm bringing all this stuff out is that statistic. Over half of black women have been raped or molested by the time they are 20 years old. And then factoring in the weak men who can't control their lust and take advantage of women, smash it for a little while, quit them out of frustration, and then this pattern goes on, and then that eventually creates that so-called loudmouth, rebellious black woman. Okay? But our men fail to realize how they contribute to that. But that is not the heavy part. The heaviest part is, okay, you understand that dynamic. You see how men have contributed to that. How do you rectify it? How do you fix it? How do you bring a woman out of that and help her overcome that unforgiveness and let go of those hurts? Okay? And this is that weighty stuff. Like, this is the stuff that nobody wants to hit on, and this is why marriages suffer. And a lot of people out there suffering in silence. So the thing is understanding what you have to do as a man to help her let go of those hurts. Okay? And a lot of men are easily frustrated. And as you see, there's a lot of moving parts to this, but once you understand the whole thing is really straightforward. But what the process of this thing is, first the man must get himself right. He must become a real man. That's why I titled this video, Qualities That Attract and Keep a Woman. You can't be this dude who can't deal with anger, who's easily frustrated, who jumps on a woman's emotional roller coaster every single time. I mean, everybody at one point or another has got sucked into a woman's emotionalism. But she needs you to be an anchor and a pillar and a leader, okay? So when you're able to stay calm in the midst of a woman's emotional storm and you don't get blown all over the place, the analogy I give is you have to be in a storm. In a woman's emotional storm, a lot of men are like tumbleweed. They get blown all over the place. And then you got the more masculine, bold men, but they're not spiritually balanced according to the word. They're not righteously balanced according to what the word says. So a lot of those men in a woman's emotional storm, they're like a rigid oak tree, and they get blown over and cracked and broke. Those are the men that when the woman act up and get disrespectful, they gone. They just leave her. and they add to the woman's hurt. The dude who's like tumbleweed, he gets blown around, and the woman just has no respect for him, and he's miserable. And a lot of those dudes end up cheating or just being spiritually castrated. But what you have to be in a woman's emotional storm and dealing with women is like a palm tree. And go watch a video of a palm tree in a hurricane. Palm tree just goes like this. It sways a little. It gives. It goes with the wind a little, but it don't get blown away. It's not so rigid that it just tries to stand still. You see what I'm saying? So there's a dynamic there. The reason the reason why I said earlier, a lot of men are bound. This culture, this Babylonian culture that a lot of people are deceived by, and it's all encompassing. This Babylonian culture spiritually castrates men. It spiritually binds the strong man. When you come out of it, you see it plainly. The media of this Babylonian culture spiritually binds men. The religion of this Babylonian culture, which is Christianity, spiritually binds men. Okay? And everything in between that. It binds the strong man. Okay? It doesn't give men tools of how do I fix this? You know, how do I get how am I supposed to walk? How am I supposed to walk in this truth? Okay? Like, what is my role in this relationship? And how do I bring my wife into a righteous Proverbs 31 woman place? Because you see a lot of women, you know, like me, like there's points, there's seasons in my life where this is what I'm living, breathing all day and all night. I'm counseling people, I'm studying stuff, I'm reading stuff, I'm in my own marriage and all that stuff like that. And it's literally seasons where I'm swimming in this understanding. So it's like, to me, this stuff is just so obvious. But then I have to empathize and be patient and realize that a lot of brothers and sisters out there they just feel trapped. They feel like they're fighting out of a plastic bag or something like that. And just real shortly, well, how do you deal with this? Well, that's that biblical masculinity breakdown that I give. That I'm going to be going into in depth on Milk in the Morning. I'm going to be breaking it down. I'm also going to be teaching a very similar lesson in Cincinnati to men. So it's going to be, you know, it ain't going to be, I'm going to take some of the cut off it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to, because I know I'm not going to be teaching this to the women. It's going to be just men. So it's going to be more man-sided. Okay? It's going to be a little more, you know, I wouldn't teach that lesson this way. For instance, like when I'm on Milk in the Morning, I'm going to teach it very balanced and show both sides, because it's critical when we talk about relationships. You can't teach it one-sided, because I mean the leverage, like the ramifications of it are huge. You know, that's why I make sure I leave no wiggle room. I make sure I come very clearly what I'm saying and how I'm breaking that down. And if you're in a crisis situation, you going through something, and you don't want to wait to watch the videos in the coming days, I already have done a series on biblical masculinity. Just look back on my YouTube page, Spiritual Combat YouTube page, or on my Spiritual Combat Facebook page. look way back in the lessons, and you'll see it. I've already taught on this in depth. I have a couple. I have new revelations that are backed up biblically on this topic, but there's only, I'm just telling you straight, there's only one way to get your marriage in order and to get that woman in order. And if you're married and you're in one of these situations, your wife disrespectful, it's a bunch of arguing, and you just having overall relationship dysfunction, I'm gonna just make it real simple. It's because you're sinning. You're in sin. And what do you mean I'm in sin? Sin is transgression of the law. So there's something you're doing that the Most High, that's undermining your relationship. It's very logical too. It's like if you do this, you're gonna get this result. And if you do this, basically what the Most High Yah said to do in a situation, you're gonna get this result, which is a blessing. Okay? So, and this real fast, the biblical masculinity breakdown real fast is what a woman needs from a man is affection, direction, and correction. The affection is being sensitive. I said that earlier. It's sex too, but the part that gets neglected is the in the affection section is sensitivity, being aware of what the dynamics going on in your woman and what's making her act that way. Okay. The second part is direction, being wise, having goals and a direction, and knowing how she fits into that direction. And then the third part is the one that never ever gets taught, is the correction. Standing up to the woman, not cowering over, and being willing to correct her. You know, and when you have those three areas in balance, that woman can't help but be attracted to you. And let me tell y'all something else. The black woman, y'all gotta know this. Like, you're not gonna intimidate a black woman talking to him like some macho boy and, you know, get your butt over here and do this. Black women are like us. They're lionesses. A black woman is fearless, just like a black man. And you ain't gonna scare her. You ain't gonna intimidate her into being obedient to her. You're gonna earn her respect. If you want to make a black woman respect you, you gotta earn it. You're not gonna fear her into respecting you. I'm just telling y'all that straight up. These black women, you can weigh 200 pounds and they will fight you. And I like that in her. Like Sister Coy, I'm way bigger than her. She ain't scared of me, but she respects me. Okay? I've earned her respect because she know I'm a real dude and I don't play. Case in point, that's why I put up that Marshawn Lynch post, man. Combat lifestyle. Combat life. I'm about that action, boss. I ain't about all that talking and posting and all that. I do these videos. I put a couple things up there. Outside of that, I'm out here making moves. And she sees that. You gotta, and like I said, this biblical masculinity breakdown, I'm gonna break all that down. And I'm gonna break down the biblical femininity too, which is affection and subjection. It's two things. The woman's thing is simple. Okay? And the thing is, you don't gotta explain it to women. When you're walking in biblical masculinity, women melt in the biblical femininity. The most dragon, monstrous, ghastly woman melts in the biblical femininity when she sees you walking in biblical masculinity, especially if she's in this truth. But you have to become a biblically masculine man. First part is being able to deal with frustration. Like, I see so many dudes out here, man. I see so many dudes on Facebook. My wife got more self-control than them. Like, my wife is stronger than a lot of these dudes out here. They're emotional. You see what I'm saying? Let me see. But anyway, with that said, man, I hope tune in the coming days and just check out the lessons. You can check out some of my past lessons on this topic. I teach it all the time because this problem is widespread in the community. So that's why I be hitting on it. Let me check something real quick. Just bear with me. So yeah, it's real talk. And like I said, a lot of dudes don't got that combat warfare King David spirit. A lot of dudes don't realize they got the Ahab spirit on, where they not. It's like, and I see it try to creep up on me from time to time because we swim. If you like, I don't watch TV. I don't watch sports. I don't watch nothing. I barely watch anything coming from this culture. From time to time, like when we we get ready to stay in a hotel, yeah, I'm a be I watch a little TV. It'll probably blow my mind, and I'll probably turn it off. But anyway, and I watch a movie from time. But for the most part, I have come out of this Babylonian culture. I don't like the Babylonian religion of Christianity. It's feminine, everything about it, but you don't see it when you're in it. You got to come out of it completely to turn around and look at it and see it. And I see what it does to people. And it's so subtle. It's beautifully, artfully deceptive. Okay? But once you come out of it and walk away from it and look back at it from a distance, then you see how insidious and acidic it is to your spirit as a man. Anyway, with that said, y'all, I hope this was informative. Shalom to all y'all watching. You're hooking on my man Eli. Good to see you in there. Cletus from Africa. Shout out to my man Cletus. Hope you get to hook up with my man Ugo over there. Jamal, all that, man. Shalom to all y'all watching over there. Appreciate you. Sister Hicks. Awesome. Look forward to seeing you when I come up to New York in a month or whatever. But anyway, y'all, with that said, consider what I said. Hope y'all tune in. And if y'all have any questions and you have an immediate need, I could get, I give counseling. Freely I've been given. Freely I give. Ain't no, that's my main purpose, what I'm here for. So if you got immediate questions, you can hit me up for counseling. And we could chop it up, It happens all the time. It's the norm. And this thing is widespread. But anyway, with that said, y'all, appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel. You watch Spiritual Combat. Shalom.